1.
All right, Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemel Shah. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS that were well and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel doing the work of the Lord in sincerity and the truth. And I'm the brother Yahweh Sop, and we're going to just jump straight into the scriptures. So, get this real quick.
Revelation 11 and 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged.
Yeah, so it says that the nations were angry, and that that time has come, and that the time of the dead, that they should be judged. So that's talking about the so-called white men, but also these heathen nations, So the dead that it's talking about is all these heathen nations that don't know that don't know the truth, Yahweh Shah said he's the firstborn of the dead, So that's talking about the our people, but also the so-called white men, The dead that's talking about these different heathen nations, So the dead they should be judged, because why? Because these heathens, they always they put us in slavery, so they gotta pay for that, So the time of the dead they should be judged. So read that again from the top.
This is Revelation 11 and 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged.
All right, so the nations were angry because why? Because so-called white man, he spread all his philosophies all throughout the planet Earth. You got these different heathen nations. They getting tired of that LGBTQ plus community shit. So they getting tired of the so-called white man's ways. Democracy. They getting tired of that. Because it don't work. And that's why you have all these different skirmishes and seditions among all these different heathen nations, because the so-called white man is in power, and democracy doesn't work. Democracy is of the devil. Democracy is of Satan. Because it's of the so-called white man. It goes back to the Romans, and you know what the Romans was known for? Homosexuality, bestiality, and all these different things. So the word Satan means adversary, So when you do anything that's contrary to the Most High, you Satan, So the ultimate Satanist is the so-called white man, because he's the only race of people that does everything that's against what the Most High says,
Right. Let me finish this up. Mm-hmm. And that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets.
Yeah. So the prophets is who? The men that's on the highways and byways, The word prophesy means to say before. So a prophet, the job is to tell people what's to come before it happens, So the Lord is going to give reward to his servants, the prophets, because, Great Millstone, us, Lord went over the elect, we're the only men that's telling the people what's to come before it happens, We tell them that World War III is about to come to pass. Famine, death, and destruction is coming to them, So that's the job of a prophet. So the Lord says he's going to give reward to his servants, the prophets, which is what? The kingdom of heaven, If we're the elect, we're going to inherit these new bodies, and we're going to put the whole rest of the planet Earth that's not part of the elect, we're going to put them in slavery, And we're going to put them to death. Thus save the scriptures.
Continue. And to the saints and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth.
All right, so they should have destroyed them that destroy the earth, because when you read when you watch this movie called Planet of the Apes, I think it's the old one from 1974, they show you how the so-called white man, he making fun of our people, showing us as so-called monkeys and apes, and it shows you that we had them in slavery, So it says, read that again, Salakia, the last part.
And to the saints and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth.
So the Lord said he going to destroy them which destroy the earth. So the only people that destroy the whole planet Earth is the so-called white man, He has space debris, He has trash in outer slot. He has trash in outer space, You know, he has trash in the oceans. He polluted the whole oceans. You know, he has chemtrails everywhere. You know, he has the ozone layers fucked up because of him. Because why? Because he keep burning up these different damn, I forgot the name of it. The garbage, basically. You know, because when we keep burning plastic in these different garbages, it fuck up the whole atmosphere. You know, so the so-called white man, he uses the HAARP technology to fuck up the whole ozone system, the whole ozone layer. He creates earthquakes. He creates tornadoes and storms and tempests to fuck up the whole planet Earth. You know, because why? Because he's the devil the Bible speaks of. You know, the word devil means deceiver. You know, he deceived the whole planet Earth into thinking that he's the purest of the people on the planet Earth. You know, so he polluted the seas, he polluted the outer space, he polluted the food, he polluted the air. So the so-called white man, he's the damn devil the Bible speaks of. You know, because everywhere that he, anything that he puts his hands to, you know, it gets destroyed, you know. Or he becomes a poison to living organisms, you know. So all the animals is in mourning right now because why? The so-called white man is in rulership. When I read Proverbs, the 29th chapter, it tells you that when the wicked are multiplied, the transgression increaseth. You know, so transgressive is what? The breaking of the laws, statutes, and commandments. So the animals, they have a place, they have a proper lot to do what they were supposed to do, that the Most High set them up, you know, from the beginning. But with the so-called white man, with his different technology and his different you know, his different philosophies, he pours in these animals to where now these animals, they coming up. And they are coming up homosexuals, you know. You got homosexual lions and silverback gorillas, you know, which is against the scriptures, you know. Being a homosexual, that's against the scriptures. You're supposed to get put to death for that. So what the so-called white men do, he gets a power, he gets rulership according to the Most High. The Most High set him up, and what does he do? He pollutes the air, he pollutes the water. So that these different animals, they drinking these different chemicals as the so-called white man he sets up. So now these different animals, they end up want to fuck the same gender, which is against the scriptures, you know. So that's how you know the so-called white man is the damn devil the Bible speaks of. And that's why he has to get put to death. He has to go into slavery, you know. That's right. So the Most High is going to reward every man according to his works, you know. That's right. So the so-called white man, the only thing he wrote on the planet Earth is what? Death, destruction, you know. Mass diseases, you know, smallpox. That's what he did to the native, so-called Native Americans, and that's why he has to get put down, you know. Because if you don't take down the disease, the cancer, you know, it's gonna keep spreading, you know. What you got?
This is Psalms 137:7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom. That's right. In the day of Jerusalem. That's right. Who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof.
All right, so the children of Edom is who? The descendants of the so-called white men, you know? All these crackers, you know? These so-called Europeans, you know? Whatever you call yourself, Jewish, you know, Britain and Scots and Germans and whatever you call yourself, you're the children of Edom, you know? So it says, remember the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem. And the day of Jerusalem is what? When our people was getting taken down by the so-called Babylonians. The Babylonians is who? The Cushites, the so-called Ethiopians. So when our people was getting taken over by this kingdom, the so-called white man, he was riding us up to get put into slavery, you know? He was saying, oh yeah, this thing is hiding right there. Go get him. That's what he was doing. So David is saying, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom, you know? Because when you read, I think, the Deuteronomy, it says, remember the days of old and consider the years of many generations, you know? So the Lord, he's not a power that forgets, you know? He created memory itself. So how you think he gonna forget about you so-called white people doing all these things that you done to us, you know? Yeah, go ahead.
This is 137 and verse 8. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed.
All right, it says, "O daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed."
Who is Babylon?
You know, so Babylon is who? The so-called white man. He was Babylon. He said, "Daughter of Babylon." That's how you know the so-called white man, the Edomite race. They're the ones that's ruling Babylon. So that's why it says, "O daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed." Because why? When you read Numbers 35 and 33, it says, "You shall not pollute the land where you are. For blood is defiled the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it." You know, so the so-called white man, he shed our blood on this land. So what's gonna happen? He has to get put down.
That's right.
You know, he has to go into slavery. His blood gotta be shed. You know, vengeance gotta be taken.
That's right.
You know, also too. Read that and then give me Genesis 9 and 6. Go ahead.
All right. This is, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us.
Yeah, so it says, "O daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us." You know, because how did the so-called white man serve us? You know, by slavery. You know, he put us in chains. He had us work for free labor, for free labor. You know, he raped our men, he raped our women, he raped our little girls and little boys. You know, that's the work. These are the so-called white men. So we're gonna reward him double. That don't mean that we're gonna actually do the things that he did. You know, raping little boys and little girls. None of that. No. You know, we're gonna get, you know, Lord willing with the elect, we're gonna get these new bodies and we're gonna fuck up these so-called white people. You know, with spiritual power. You know, we're gonna repay them double. You know, of the things that they done to us.
This is Genesis 9 and 6. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed.
So it's you know, that's in the book of Genesis. You know, that's to show you that in the ancient times that they had the law, statutes, and commandments. So read that again, brother.
This is Genesis 9 and 6. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed.
So it says, "Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed." And how did the so-called white man get America? How did the so-called white man get South Africa? How did the so-called white man get Canada? How did he get Australia? Everywhere the so-called white man goes is bloodshed. So it says, everywhere the so-called white man goes, by man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. You know, he got the whole planet Earth by bloodshed. You know, he murdered our people. He slaughtered us. You know, and not just us, these fucking heathens too. But we don't give a fuck about them, because the Lord is only about the children of Israel. You know? So he did all these things to our people, even to this day. You know, he murdering us, you know? He shooting us like dogs in the fucking streets. So you don't think the so-called white man gonna get, he's not gonna get paid back for that? You know? The Lord is he's a just God. You know, if it wasn't for the Lord, Yahweh Shim Yahushua, then we would have no justice. That's right. You know, because from the jump, the so-called white man been doing us wrong. Right. You know, he shed our blood, he steal our land, he sell our children into slavery, he rape our women, and you don't think you're gonna get paid back from that? You know, and when you read Galatians 6 and 7, it tells you that matter of fact, if you don't mind getting that, it tells you that
Colossians 3 and 25.
Yeah, Colossians 3 and 25. It says basically how the Most High recompense into everybody for the works that they have done.
Colossians 3 and 25. But he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he had done, and there is no respect of persons.
So the Lord don't care. Matter of fact, if you got your apocrypha, give me wisdom of Solomon 6 and 7. So the Most High, he don't care who the fuck you are, you know. So you've been fucking up our people, you know. You've been laughing, you've been laughing. You thinking it's a blessing. When you read Zechariah 11 and 5, it tells you that the so-called white man, he rejoiced. He said, "Oh, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich," you know. So he been selling us off. He been doing all these atrocities to our people, but he praying to the Lord like the Most High give him a fucking gift, like it's a blessing unto him, you know. And that's why he's going to fucking slavery, you know. What you got?
say Wisdom of Solomon 6 and 7?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, 6 and 7.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 6 and 7. For he which is Lord over all shall fear no man's person, neither shall he stand in awe of any man's greatness. For he had made the small and great and cared for all alike.
So basically, the Most High, he don't give a fuck who you are, because he made you at the end of the day. So you thinking you are elite, you are Rothschild, you own over $500 trillion in the economy. So you thinking that you somebody and that the Lord gonna have respect for you. You don't give a fuck. You know, to him, you still dust and ashes, as it is written, you know. It don't give a fuck if you poor, if you rich, you still dust and ashes, you know. So he don't got no respect for you, you know. So you speak against our people, like all, you know, you put drugs in our community, you put guns in our communities, you know, and then you still pray to the Most High like, oh, look at what the fuck they doing. They're accusing our brethren. You know, you looking at our people as, you know, they doing something wrong. So yeah, they doing something wrong. But you don't want that give them they told them, they give them the devices to go against you. You know, the brother got something to say.
You know what I'm saying? Who's our people?
Yeah, our people is the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. You know, so that's and also too, when you look at our people, you know, we in the projects. You know, a project is what, you know, experiment basically. You know, and that's why the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, they in the same, they live in the same area. Because why the so-called white man, he's in rulership, you know?
Yeah,
So,
in fact, I can even add on to that. Dealing with the projects. You know, you dealing with the projects. Hey, when you speak to Jake in the street, ain't nothing better than Project Heat.
Yeah.
Right? They say ain't nothing better than Project Heat. But when you speaking to so-called the Latino Northern tribe, they say the same shit. They say, Poppy, Project Heat, no, I don't want to leave that, no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know?
But that's to show you, you know, we're the same people because we've been through the same things, you know. The so-called white man came over here and enslaved the so-called Native Americans and the Latinos, you know, and to this day he has them catching hell. And that's the same thing he did to the so-called Negroes. And
this is Revelation 13 and 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
So it says, if any man have an ear, let him hear, you know. So, you know, we know that we all have ears, unless you are a handicap, you know. You're born with less parts, you know, you got one ear, you know, extra ear, whatever. The Lord said if you got an ear, you know, you got to hear, you know. You got to listen, you know. Because why? That's talking about a spiritual understanding. So as if any man have an ear, let him hear. Read that.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
So it says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And when you look at history, the so-called white man is the only race that put up, Slovakia. You know, the so-called white man, he's the one of the races that put our people in slavery, you know. You know, he's like the last so-called race, the family, the lineage that put us our people in slavery, you know.
But
because
also,
all these different nations
brother,
had us in slavery.
He's the only one that put us in the transatlantic.
Yeah, slave trade, yeah. So, you know, our people, you know, there was slaves under the so-called white men, you know. Because why? That was prophecy being fulfilled, you know. So we were slaves under them, you know, according to prophecy. You know, when you read Genesis, the 27th chapter, it tells you the blessings of the so-called white man, which is the descendants of the nation of Edom, and the blessings of Jacob, you know, which is the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. So yeah, they had us in slavery for so long, you know, 500 years. You know, they had us in slavery going back to the Romans and the Greeks, you know. But ultimately, when Yahweh Shai, which is, you know, what the Christians like to refer to as the rapture, you know, when Yahweh Shai, which is who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, when he comes back, you know, he's going to put the world, he's going to put the whole planet in subjection, you know.
That's right.
The nation of Israel, you know, we're going to own all these different heathens, you know. You know, when you read Daniel 7:18, it tells you that the saints of the Most High shall possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. You know, the kingdom is going to be the whole planet Earth and all these different nations, and all these different planets from outer space, you know? So what you got?
I'm going to just finish that off right there. This is Revelation 13 and 10.
Right.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
So it says, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Not maybe, you know? Not maybe. It says must be killed with the sword. And you know, when you look at history, you know, because you want to talk about facts, or you so-called white people, you always want to talk about facts. When you look at the facts, the so-called white man is the only race that put our people in slavery and still got us in slavery to this day. And he killed us by the sword, and it still is to this day. You know, the prison system is the modern day slavery. You know, he's shooting us like dogs in the streets.
That's right.
Feeding us GMO foods. You know, he putting guns in our community so we could kill each other. So it all goes back to the so-called white man, which is the Edomites of the Bible. And that's why he has to go into slavery.
Oh, I got a precept. This is Psalms 2 and 8. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession.
So it said, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance. And the heathen is who? Anybody that's not part of the nation of Israel. If you're a so-called East Indian, you're Chinese, you're Japanese, you're a so-called Arab, you're African, you're going to slavery. You're going to be under us. So it says, ask of me, and I shall give you the heathen for thine inheritance. So in the kingdom of heaven, you're going to be on inheritance. We're going to possess you. You know? Just like you possess a pair of shoes, you're going to be worse than that. We're going to put our foot up your fucking neck.
Yeah.
Thus saith the scriptures.
Yeah.
This is verse 9. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel.
So it says you shall break them like a rod of iron. So when the kingdom of heaven comes, you know, Lord willing, with the elect, we're going to break these different heathen nations, you know. We're going to break them with what? With the rod of iron, which is going to be these scepters, you know. We're going to have golden scepters. We're going to bash your heads in, you know. We're going to tell you to do, we're going to tell you to do certain things, and you're going to do them, and we still going to bash your heads in
right.
just because we feel like it, you know. Because we're going to be gods on the planet Earth, you know. When Yasharallah means he is a praise of the Most High, you know. So we're going to do whatever the Most High or whatever pleases the Most High, you know.